Attempt 5. I guess I'm counting attempts mostly because I'm doing them all in one play session. With that in mind, let's introduce this map. This looks familiar, doesn't it? This is map 1. Well, that's interesting, but those are fairies. Okay, something's getting weird here. So, what is going on here then? Why are there fairies here? Well, I will answer that eventually. So yeah. When I mentioned oh yeah, first 3 secrets are all from map 1. So yeah, when I mentioned that I made map 1 back in the map 1 video better, that is because, well, it was because I wanted to support the twist that led to this map. This map is really something special. From a gameplay perspective, this map really demonstrates why all of my previous maps tend to be wide open areas. In these tight corridors, these fairies are brutal to fight. It's really hard to do so. I'm going to be taking a lot of damage in places. This map has a lot of health, and even its generosity often isn't enough. Ha! So yeah, so far you've seen 3 fairy types so far. The blue fairies, which are pretty just standard cannon fodder fairies. The red fairies that fire in these large spreads, similar to episode 1 fairies. The green fairies that fire in these large waves. And yellow fairies that also fire in large waves, but they're larger waves. And fun fact, the green fairies don't actually have a projectile that's centered on the player. With enough distance, you can theoretically dodge them by standing still. In practice, this map doesn't give you enough difficult distance, so aside from yellow fairies being slightly more dangerous, they're effectively identical. And on Lunatic, the yellow fairies are really nasty. They're way harder on Lunatic than they are in any other difficulty. So, the next enemy is these white fairies. I'll let one shoot to demonstrate what they do. Come on, shoot! I'm trying to demonstrate a point here. So yes, if you might remember episode 1, these are essentially if you might remember the little devil enemies from map 6. That's what these are. So yeah, remember their functionalities, because now we're going to fight the first instance of fighting multiple of them at once. I'm going to take out my rocket launcher. And yes, as you probably noticed, the white fairies of the previous room, or of this room, not previous, were in containment cells. The UAC was experimenting on these fairies somehow. That's right. The portal to Gensokyo was not necessarily just an accident and a mysterious, I don't know where this leads. This is the twist. The demons were the aberration this time. And yeah, I won't go so far to say this map's harder than 25, but this map is very dangerous, and trying to get it all in one go is... It's hard. It's... One segmenting map 25 is definitely harder if you include the secret challenge, though. Okay, I'm going to do a bit of a strat where I'm going to rapidly run around. There are some fairies I missed, but... This looks bad, but you can dodge a lot of these fairies with single taps, which means that you don't need a lot of room to dodge them. But you really have to keep your nerves about you, because if you are prone to panicking and making panicked movements, that can end you very easily against the long lines of bullets that the white fairies fire. Or the fairies are the white bullets, I should say. Oh! Nice try. And yeah, there's fairies on that side. I was choosing to ignore them for strategic sake. So, bear in mind that Lunatic does assume that you have some experience and you're not walking in blind. Some of the strategies are not easy. Alright, that's this area. So, yeah, another kind of area. As you can see, this map's actually the closest thing to a standard Doom map the SWAT has. It's a tech-based level. It's a tech-based level that's somewhat more intricately detailed than other maps. But that's because the texture set really works for it. Building this map was actually the easiest part of it, because fundamentally I had the resources that worked well for this. What was in here? That's not good. So, it was an interesting process to design this map, and I'm quite happy with the map I got. Okay. My honest advice to you is don't really try to UV max this map, or I guess max because UV. But if you're going to try and max it, here's how you want to do it. First of all, come on! I'm trying to take out this room first. Okay, this is going to be pretty hard to take out. Once you've gotten yourself in this little corner, take out one of the groups, preferably yellow. Then green like that. Nice. And the reason is that, as I mentioned, you don't want to leave the whites, the yellows, and the greens alive all at once. The yellow-greens are essentially the same fairies, so let's just group them together. The whites and the yellow-greens don't really get along with each other in terms of the dodgeability. If you have both alive, you will just lose all of your health so quickly. So the trick, as you saw, I went after this, which has the whites. Then I went after this, which had the yellows. And then, thankfully, the greens and the reds kind of got taken out by the demons. I had to take out a few, but it weren't that many. And yeah, you can't go back, so once you enter this room, you're kind of locked in here. Alright, let's keep going. Okay. My advice to the next room, my honest advice, is don't try to kill everything in the next room. But if you're my honest advice to you is to use spell cards for the next room. You might ask you, what spell cards? Well, these spell cards. But if you're going to try and if you're going to try and max it, here's how if you're going to try and not use spell cards, here's what you want to do. First, I'm going to use illusion laser. I'm going to target the white fairies. It's probably more efficient to target the greens and the yellow greens, but it's really hard to find them in this mess. Whereas the white bullet fairies are much more visually distinct. Plus, this room gives you great cover. So I'm gonna snipe out this last one. Please die. And once we're down to that, I can try exiting the room. Try being the operative. Uh-oh, left two of them alive. And that's why, as I look at how much life I just lost from that one mistake. That's why I made a point of trying to kill all of them. Two of them, however, remained out of my line of sight, so I couldn't get them. All right, that's all of them. So yeah, now we're in the second half. The music gets more intense to represent that things really are getting a bit dangerous now. So, and basically all of my failures, except for one really embarrassing one, have been in the second half. This is where this map gets kind of hard. This looks intimidating, but these fairies can all be circle strafed. Sometimes the AI will just be annoying, but that's RNG for you. So yeah. All right. Woo! Almost got completely slaughtered there because I got stuck. I'm going to switch to Homing Amulet because that allows me to not worry about actually aiming at these guys who have very little health and can be sidestepped. All right. And next up is this area. And yeah, so this song's core, it's also from Undertale. And I think I decided to reference Undertale just because I really liked its music, mostly. There's one song in particular that I really wanted to feature in Touhou Boss Theme. Now we're at full power. This room can be quite hard, so I'm going to try my best to not screw it up like an idiot, which I have done quite frequently. There's quite a bit of cover, so... But it's very easy to find yourself cornered very well. My advice to you is run past it again. But if you know what you're doing, you can kind of get into a position where you can circle strafe. Not quite circle strafe, but like that. So I took one major mistake, but otherwise that shouldn't have been too bad. And yeah, you can't go back either. Also, again, you have spell cards. Don't be afraid to use them. The ability to go invincible temporarily is pretty good. So yeah, don't be afraid to use it. This last area is not hard, just play it safe. And yeah. And the big thing about this map is that the map layout forces you to really learn it. So I didn't feel the need to make the fairies have different functions. As a result, all fairies, visually speaking, have the same function. So the green fairies act the same way every time during this map. Whoops, sorry about that. I just sneezed because I'm kind of allergic right now. I think I can fight this. Whoop. I did take one death here. I just got careless, played too aggressively, and took all the white bullets to the face and just lost all my health. It happens. And if you're following the terminals, which, yeah, you can still do, this is where the map reveals that a forest. And yeah, you're following the log of some guy. Can't go back now. Not that it matters, because, well... And now, as you might notice, the music has stopped. That is because we are about... Where of it? So, what is this it? It's some kind of Danmaku demon. And yep, we're leaving you to take care of it, because Yukari really doesn't have much sympathy here. Mostly because the UAC is, as now revealed, responsible, partially, for the incident in Gensokyo. And Yukari does not consider your fallen comrade worth exerting effort for. You, however, are different. You see, you're good at killing demons. So, as a result, Yukari's trapped the Yukari's trapped it, whatever it is, in some sort of border realm. And both warp gates connected to Gensokyo. We're going to be taking a quick trip stop to the border between worlds, because whatever this weird aberration is, it's waiting there for you. Not by its own choice, because Yukari decided to trap it there. You know, the last act of your adventure will start soon. All right, let's do this. I had a lot of fun with this boss fight. I'm going to I'm possibly my and it oh yeah, there's a little pro tip that says pro tip, switch to homing amulet at the start of this fight. This is why. Because this fight starts with you trapped and you have to shoot down these lost souls before they charge at you. This is a reference to the fight of which this song is taken from. So, welcome to an evil copy of you. It wields the same weapons you do. So, and then it turns into this. Alright, so the first card is always from episode 2. This is essentially Patchoulie's card gimmick meets Satori's. She will randomly pick a spell card from episode 2 and reuse it. Well, only this time she actually, the monster, whatever it is, shapeshifts. Again, it moves fast enough that it can be hard to hit, so I just use Hakari Amulet to get consistent damage. Alright, not bad. Oh boy, this is not a good night. Not the easiest thing, but not the worst either. By the way, the second card is always from episode 3. So that's how that works. Not bad at all. Wait, that's not... And now it reveals much... It turns into something much more demonic, revealing much more about itself. And we still really don't know what it is. You can see it says question mark, question mark, question mark. It, that distorts truth. So, that first burst of plasma you saw there, that's kind of reveals what the gimmick of this card is. The gimmick of this card is that the white flames are harmless, but they will conceal bullets. So you have to read very carefully to tell. You can see these white fireballs. It's hard to. But they are there, so you have to be careful to try and dodge them properly. Oof. Got her! Or him, it. Doesn't really matter. Got it, actually, because it's called it. Phase 2, it that sets Eternity ablaze. This is a random pick of one of 4... Oh yeah, I should have mentioned. Much like how the first 2 spell cards are randomly selected, the it boss is this... both it that distorts truth and it that sets Eternity ablaze are a random pick of one of 4 different patterns. I'd say this one's probably the easiest. We're not done yet, though. You may need to use spell cards. This is actually... If your luck's bad, and mine really wasn't, it picked nice cards, you can get this fight can be really hard. RNG. If RNG hates your guts, this is actually legitimately a pretty difficult fight. And yes, now you have a timeout, which is 1 minute of surviving weakened versions of the both of them. Unlike every other spell card in this fight, this is not a random pick from multiple patterns. This is... They will just randomly use their attacks. You can actually see weaker versions of all 4 patterns that Mr. Blaze is willing to use, whereas the Truth Distortioner is basically just going to use a weakened version of the non-spell. The White Fire gimmick with the Fire gimmick was not as fun, so I decided to just make it core conventional. This is quite a hard timeout, so actually... Oh god! Whew! I thought I was about to die. Because, yeah, dying during the timeout you can't cheese it by that, so I had to survive. I got it! First try! Oh god. I didn't lose the run to the boss, thank god. Oh, God. This was a really hard one to record, and that is mostly going to be owing to the fact that it's a long map. And I had a lot of fun constructing this is the thing. Like, the twist where it's like, oh, by the way, the UAC was experimenting on the fairies. Yeah, 19 minutes and 53 seconds. Oh, boy. I had a lot of fun with that twist, though, where it was just, yeah, welcome back. Because you fought fairies, you fought Doom Demons in normal world. You fought fairies in Gensokyo. You fought demons in Gensokyo. So now you're going to fight fairies in the normal world. It really showcases, though, why I only do this once. It's really hard. Because these fairies are not really designed for these close quarters combat fights. But that's, and yeah, sorry if I'm sounding allergic. It's because I really am. But I did get this, and I'm really happy. I'll see you next video. Because, yes, we're going back to Gensokyo one last time, and... well, it's gonna really be something.